Most rescue greyhounds have been raised in a racing kennel and have limited experience of the world.
Dogs don't instantly trust everyone, some dogs do, but a lot of track dogs are nervous because they've been manhandled.
Rough handling at the track or accidents can often make a greyhound shy or nervous.
And these dogs are so incredible, they're so in tune to people. We get the occasional dog that they call a spook at the racetrack, which means it's massively fearful. But even those dogs come around.
There are several things we can do to help move a dog from feeling afraid to being neutral and finally joyful.
This is a very scared dog. She's afraid of people she doesn't know, and she's reluctant to come out. So if you look at the fear in her eyes, she's getting as far away as she can. So some people would say it's dangerous to try and get her out. I'm going to see if she reacts to my hand. Come on, sweetie. Good girl. Come on, darling. Come on, it's okay. It's okay. Come on, sweetie. See, you touch her and she flinches. So she's analysing what the threat is, what her escape route's going to be.
GAC has rehabilitated and placed thousands of dogs into happy pet homes. These include many dogs that the racing industry has said don't make great pets.
Well, they are. They come around for the right people. It's just a case of finding the right people for the right dog. I can touch her back. As soon as I move toward her hip area, watch what happens. Exactly. She's saying, I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm not going to force it. Nothing bad happened so far, nothing bad happened so far. Everything's good so far. Yes, it is. So I'm going to sneak, I'm going to get a crafty one in and just touch her like that and then walk away. So over the period of the next 4 or 5 weeks, we'll get her used to being touched. They don't stay scared forever. And when she came in, she wasn't, you couldn't go and give her a cuddle. She'd go, "Boo, don't touch me." You have to build the trust.
First, we must be calm, quiet, and patient ourselves.
So it's really tempting to want to befriend the shy dogs that are pacing around nervously. And that's understandable, but if I try to single one of them out now, I won't be making any friends. I'll be making them even more fearful. The key in this particular case is to not try until the timing's right.
Most dogs inherently want to trust us, for us to be their guides.
So watch them all go and greet her. See the difference? We know her, and she gets down to their level and unthreatening. Everyone gets a pet. So you can see even the very shy dogs are bonded with her already.
Constant exposure with nothing bad happening is key to building trust. And trust is one of the primary emotions that you try to build. Even track dogs with not much reason to trust will come around given patience and consistency. We must watch our own body language to create an environment which is conducive to trust.
Once they learn to trust their people, you know, they become happy family pets in that home environment. She is learning that being petted by people is actually a good thing. But when she first came in, she was a little bit coy and reluctant to come out of her crate for people she absolutely didn't trust, because she's learning who her regular people are.
Consistency and patience are key. Greyhounds will often have very little or zero experience of the outside world. Many dogs adjust quickly from track life to home life, but some dogs require more time and care because they are more fearful. Greyhound Adoption Center volunteers take the dogs out into the community to evaluate each dog. This also helps the dog understand the real world away from the track. Before taking a dog out for the first time, it is a good idea to practice controlling the dog in a safe, fenced area. Track greyhounds can easily slip out of a collar when fearful if the collar and leash are not held correctly. Above all, it is the responsibility of the handler to ensure the dog's safety.
When he starts to run, she's going to pull away, and I'm going to demonstrate how not to let go of her, and at the same time not get her hurt. By staying low, I pull down and back. Down and back, and that gives me control. If I'd gone high, she'd have worked her way out of the collar, and it would have choked her a little bit. That's what this is made to do, this type of collar.
Reacting calmly when they are walking with you on a leash and something spooks them is not only beneficial for their emotional state, it's a matter of safety.
Okay, I'm opening the door. I don't see the dog. I don't see the dog. Hello, dog. Okay, I'm going to check his collar, make sure it's tight enough. And the buckle is good, and the leash is good. And I got you. Are you ready? The first time we take a greyhound out of the adoption center kennel and take it into the real world, as you saw with Dorado, initially he's excited about going because it's dogs love to go places. But from the moment we opened the van door, you could see the primary emotion was, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next. So he was feeling fearful, but at the same time, he was anticipating something good. We took our time to let him assess all of the stimuli. He was hearing ducks quacking, he was birds flying by, kids on skateboards. Good boy. Loud cars, motorbikes, and it's almost a sensory overload. By being cognizant of what he's feeling, and we know he's feeling slightly fearful, but he's also curious. So we walked away where he found something else to sniff at in the big wide world. The skateboards went by, he alerted but didn't freak out. That's an example of kind of low level of manipulating emotion. Needed some guided introduction to the world, so he didn't have a bad first experience with kids on skateboards. And again, we're still trying to get to acceptance. It's really important that the person walking the dog for socialization purposes isn't overreactive.
Anything out of their usual zone can be potentially frightening, even being singled out and away from other greyhounds.
And what we're aiming for is to get to acceptance and trust. And so we're trying to get to acceptance, and we're trying to diminish fear.
Exposing dogs incrementally to new situations, where nothing bad happens, is a huge part of gaining trust. Counteracting behaviors and manipulating their emotional state by doing things which are low arousal and bring joy when they are exhibiting fear or trepidation go a long way toward reaching a harmonious interaction.
So when he does his business, it tells us he's getting more relaxed. And his body language tells us too.
Escorting a dog through this first experience in a calm, non-reactive way is key.
So going in the hardware store, if Mr. Billy Bob, who's 300-pound massive barn door guy, says, "Hey, can I pet your dog?" You can say, "Yeah, but do me a favor, kneel down and turn away from him for a second, and I'll let him come to you." And that's a real nice technique. And if you can get a big guy to do that, then the dog gets a pet and nothing bad happens. That's a great first time out experience for the dog.
Some dogs come from their track experience with a specific fear of men. Don't force interaction, as this will often make the situation worse.
If that person lives in the house, guess who's going to feed the dog? He is. Treats, anything that the dog associates with good, you start associating with the big guy in the house that she's afraid of.
When the dog finds a comfortable place in the house, be near them without forcing physical contact.
Don't try so hard, because the more you try with a dog that's truly fearful of men, the more you try the shortcut, the worse it gets. Because you have to get to acceptance before you get to adoration. You gotta earn it. But when big guy's finished with his shirts for the day, don't launder them.
Leaving a worn t-shirt out for the dog gives them a chance to effectively investigate their new humans calmly, without pressure.
And build that familiarity so that she becomes associated with nothing bad happening and the presence of this big guy. You can take a fearful dog off the racetrack and connect with that dog within a few months on an emotional level. The dog blooms like a flower and lives a long life and gives you a lot of joy. So it's not just about the dogs, it's about that relationship between a pet that's truly loved and it truly loves you back.
Over time, with the right treatment, Most greyhounds go on to lead a happy and calm life as pets with their new humans.